Brian Shaffer walked into a bar in 2006. Security cameras were watching the only exit. Every single person who entered that night was recorded leaving. Every single person. Except him. He went in at 1:15 a.m. By 2 a.m., the bar was empty. The cameras kept recording. People kept leaving. But Brian Shaffer never appeared again. Not on camera. Not outside. Not anywhere. The lead investigator later said he is 100% certain Brian did not leave through that exit. Which means one thing. He entered a building with a camera on the only way out and vanished. It was the last day of March. Spring break at Ohio State had just started. Brian Shaffer had dinner with his father that night. A steakhouse, just the two of them. His father looked across the table and noticed his son looked exhausted. Brian had been studying through the night all week. He was in his second year of medical school. He was 27 years old. 3 weeks earlier, his mother had died. Her name was Renee Shaffer. She died of myelodysplasia, a rare blood cancer. Brian had been studying to become a doctor, while his mother was dying of a disease doctors could not stop. Randy had reservations about Brian going out that night. He kept them to himself. He would spend the rest of his life wishing he hadn't. 20 years later, police would dig up a basement, looking for him. But that comes later. At 9 p.m., Brian met his best friend at the ugly Tuna Saloona, a bar on the second floor of the South Campus Gateway building. One entrance, a single escalator going up, security cameras covering the building. They bar hopped down High Street, one shot at every stop, the way you do when you're 27 and the week is finally over. After midnight, they ran into a friend who drove them back to the ugly Tuna. A live band was playing. The camera captured all three of them, riding the escalator up at 1:15 in the morning. At 1:55 a.m., Brian was outside the bar entrance, talking to two women. He said goodbye. He turned back toward the door. At 2 a.m., the bar closed. His friends waited outside for Brian to come down the escalator. He did not come down. Brian Shaffer was in his second year of medical school, but what he actually wanted was to play music, start a band, live somewhere warm, the Caribbean maybe. He had a tattoo on his upper right arm, the stick figure logo from Pearl Jam's single Alive. He was planning to propose to his girlfriend Alexis. They were flying to Miami on April 3rd. His family believed he had already picked the ring. His mother had died 3 weeks before he disappeared. The night Brian vanished, his younger brother Derek had canceled plans to go out with him earlier. Something came up. Derek has lived with that cancellation for 20 years. When Brian did not board his flight on April 3rd, Alexis reported him missing. Columbus police went straight to the ugly Tuna. The Gateway building had security cameras covering the escalator and the building's entrances. Police reviewed every frame. 1:15 a.m. Brian and his companions ride the escalator up, all three visible. 1:55 a.m. Brian outside the bar entrance, talking to two women. Brief conversation. He says goodbye. He moves back toward the entrance. After that, nothing. The camera records every patron leaving at 2 a.m. Every patron. Brian Shaffer is not in the footage. There was a service door, not used by the public, a short distance from where Brian was last seen. It led through a hallway to a construction area with its own exterior exit. The cameras covering that route were not fixed. One panned constantly. One was operated manually. Gaps were possible. If he used that door, then everything the camera showed stops meaning what we think it means. Police checked cameras at 3 other nearby bars. No footage of Brian. They searched dumpsters, alleyways, the sewer system. His apartment, nothing disturbed. His car, still parked outside. No activity on his phone. No activity on his bank accounts. Not then. Not since. The lead investigator said this in 2014. I can say with 100% certainty that Shaffer did not leave via the escalator. That is not the language investigators usually use. That is the language of someone who watched every frame and still could not explain what he saw. Everyone connected to that night was asked to take a lie detector test. Brian's father took it. Meredith Reed took it and passed. The 2 women at the bar took it when finally asked in 2009. Clint Florence, Brian's best friend, refused. Not once, at least twice. He's the only person connected to that night who refused to take a polygraph test. He also hired a lawyer. Police have never named him a suspect. But Brian's brother Derek said this. As soon as the detective started getting involved, that's when he pretty much had no contact with anybody. I've always thought he definitely knows something, just won't come forward with it. Florence has never publicly explained the refusal. Every night after Brian disappeared, his girlfriend, Alexis, called his number. It went straight to voicemail, every night, for months. And then one night in September, 5 months after Brian vanished, it rang. 3 times. Nobody answered. She wrote about it later. I kept calling it purely because it was one of the best sounds I have ever heard, even if no one picked up. Cell tower data placed the phone 14 miles northwest of Columbus. A month-long triangulation placed it pinging towers across the city. The phone appeared to be moving. Either Brian had it, or someone else did. Nobody has ever explained which. Randy Shaffer had just buried his wife. 3 weeks later, his son disappeared. A psychic told him Brian's body was in the water near a bridge pier. Randy bought waders. He and Derek and volunteers walked the shores of the Olentangy River, searching near bridges, in whatever free time they had. Randy also lobbied the Ohio State Legislature. When Brian disappeared, there was no statewide protocol for how police handled missing adult cases. By the time Randy died, the bill had become law. In September 2008, 2.5 years after Brian vanished, Randy was clearing debris in his yard after a windstorm. A branch fell. It killed him. His neighbors found his body the next day. He never found his son. After Randy's obituary appeared online, someone signed the condolence book. To Dad, love Brian, U.S. Virgin Islands. Police traced it to a public computer in Franklin County. A hoax. Columbus police have 3 theories. They have declined to discuss any of them. The 2 that have surfaced publicly. Theory 1. Brian is dead. No financial activity since April 1st, 2006. No confirmed sightings anywhere in 20 years. FBI facial recognition ruled out the strongest lead. If Brian Shaffer is alive somewhere, he has not spent a single dollar of his own money since that night. Theory 2. Brian chose to disappear. His mother had just died. He was exhausted. He wanted a different life. Maybe that night, something broke. Florence's attorney wrote this to the case's private investigator. If Brian is alive, which is what I'm led to believe after speaking with the detective involved, then it is Brian and not Clint who is causing his family pain and hardship. Alexis believes he is dead. I can't imagine he would have just done that, she said. Derek believes Florence knows something, In 2026, 20 years after Brian vanished, a researcher named a person of interest to Columbus police. The detective's response: "Holy hell, how do you know that name?" Then he told her what the police had already done about it. In 2006, the year Brian disappeared, 2 separate people reported the same name to Columbus police. 2 people who did not know each other. One of them was Meredith Reed. Police received the name. It went into the files. In 2020, a new detective took the case. The name came up again. The detectives went to the house where this person had lived in 2006, near Lane Avenue. The current owners let them in. In the basement, a section of concrete floor that looked newer than the rest, as if it had been disturbed. They got a warrant. They came back with jackhammers. They broke up the concrete. They dug. What they found: an old fuel oil tank, capped off, no body, no Brian Shaffer. In early 2026, researcher Kelly Bruce received a tip, a third independent source, the same name. She called Columbus police. She said the name. Holy hell, how do you know that name? 3 sources, 3 different years. None of them knew each other, all naming the same person. That person has never been publicly identified, never been charged. The case is still open. In early 2026, Columbus police released the full surveillance footage from the night Brian vanished, every frame, for the first time. Researchers have been reviewing it, frame by frame. They have already found things that have not been made public. 20 years of this case, and the footage is still giving up information. Here is what is confirmed. Brian Shaffer entered the ugly Tuna Saloona at 1:15 in the morning on April 1st, 2006. He was captured on camera at 1:55. He was not captured leaving. His car did not move. His accounts went untouched. Here is what has never been confirmed: how he left the building, whether he is alive, what the person of interest knows, what the newly released footage shows. A 27-year-old man with a tattoo that said "alive" went out on the first night of spring break. He was planning to propose. He had dinner with his father first. And somewhere between 1:55 and 2 o'clock in the morning, something happened that nobody in 20 years has been able to explain. Clint Florence is still alive. He is the only person connected to Brian Shaffer's last night who refused to take a polygraph. He has not spoken publicly about the case in years. His lawyer once wrote that he believed Brian was alive. Florence has never confirmed or denied that. Whatever he knows or doesn't know, he's been silent for 20 years. And nobody has made him speak. Randy Shaffer never found his son. He spent his last years in waders in a river. The answer to what happened in the early morning hours of April 1st, 2006, exists in the memory of at least one person who has chosen not to share it. If this story deserves to be heard, share this video. Dark Matter Stories, new episodes every week, where reality gets darker